Please be seated, everybody. What a beautiful day. It's getting hot out there, folks. What is it, like 80, 90 degrees outside? Is it hot? So hot. Summertime is coming. Ticks are coming. Who got ticks this year? Hey, okay, everybody's already been christened by the ticks. When we have new people move in here, then they get the tick. They're freaking out. But, you know, getting a tick, when you're in the wild, that's like, you know, it's kind of normal. So don't worry about it too much. Just stay healthy. You know, there's all sorts of great information on the internet and things like that. No need to be scared of the wild. That's just part of it, okay? It's just part of it. All right, so let's go into it. The announcements today. May 28th, 2017 already. Wow, isn't that amazing? Oh, can I get my pointer real quick? There we go. That one right there. Thank you. And let's go to our announcements. Welcome to Sanctuary, everybody, to anyone attending for the first time, and brothers and sisters joining us online. We welcome you this day. Also, the 55th Day of True All Things, 63rd anniversary of HSA. Last 2 days has been amazing. My goodness, did you see all the incredible lecture yesterday? Who saw all those live? Weren't those amazing? Let's give it up for our lecture students. Wow. Wasn't that great? Lisa Lowell and what was that? Kyle. Also, we had Tim do a mini King's Report. Did you see that? That was a surprise. I was like, what's Tim doing? And then we had, of course, Cook Jinum did an amazing Q&A. How many enjoyed that? Wasn't that amazing? Whoa, very deep. Very, very deep points of our sovereignty. Okay, amazing. So today we have the 11 a.m. Sunday service, obviously, luncheon and fellowship. Then at 2 p.m. we have a cosmic holy blessing. Okay, some of our people will be getting blessed. So be sure to congratulate them at that time. And then we have 3 p.m. photo session time. Okay, so that will be the photo session time at 3 p.m. Hope you're blinged out and hope you're looking stylish and beautiful today, because this is the day for the photo shoot. Okay, let's see. Come on, pointer. Listen. There we go. Kingdom Photo Day. Today, attire is formal. So we're going to be changing too from our very formal attire that I'm wearing right now. Very formal, as you can notice. Very formal, very formal. And putting on our tuxedos and stuff like that. Wear a crown if you've been blessed under True Father's authority. Okay, those are people who are blessed under Father's authority. Blessed families under Father's authority. Okay, so you have to be blessed. And you can bring your firearms. This is, of course, a symbol of sovereignty. Remember, we talked about symbology. Symbology is very important, and the symbol of sovereignty. Okay, so very important. We'll have a whole protocol, and Doug Williams, hello, right? Doug Williams over there. We'll have a. Do you want to explain that, Doug? Do you want to come up real quick and explain? Let's welcome Doug Williams, former chief of police in where's that? New York. Philmont, New York. Okay, here you go, Doug. Explain that.
Okay, I always try and keep things simple. So we're going to have a table set up at the front door. Anyone bringing a firearm in, we'll check it, make sure it's empty, make sure it's safe, and we'll put a strip in the chamber to make it obvious that it's empty, and we'll proceed from there. I believe we're going to have we're going to line the couples up and bring them up ceremoniously, one couple at a time for the photo shoot. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, come down the red carpet over here. Very nice. And for those that didn't bring firearms, I have a couple extra ARs. And so we're all set. So nobody needs to be left out.
Thank you, Chief Doug. Okay, so there it is from former police chief of Philmont, New York, Doug Williams. Please keep them in your car until the photo session, okay? And as he explained, there will be a protocol. We talked about that. You know, even Samurai had a very elaborate weapons protocol. It's very important when you deal with these kind of elements of sovereignty and power and force, okay? Which Chanigo kings and queens must have. You must. If you are not able to have dominion over force, guess who does? Exactly. Satan always takes it, and the archangel always takes it. That's why good people have to have dominion over the power, the real power of force. Okay? Very important. Here's our International Leadership Seminar participants. Hey, there's Kukchinam right there. Let's give it up for our true Cain, elder brother, and all our wonderful, beautiful participants there. Thank you to all our, also let's give it for our volunteers. Hey, our volunteers, they made it happen. Very well done, and very beautiful. Okay, Freedom Society Seminar. Last time we watched a documentary about drug gangs in Colombia. Join us at our next meeting this week on Thursday, June 1st. Wow, June 1st, already June 1st. Can you believe it? Location is Car Arms Factory, and the place will be Lord's Valley. Time, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. June 1st. Wow, it's already June 1st. Introduction to Low Merit Education, another option for college education by Jim Borer. Okay, so if you're preparing for college or your kids are preparing for college, make sure they attend this free resource from attorney, how do I say it? Esquire, Mr. Jim Borer Esquire. Okay, he's been practicing law for how many years, Jim? How many years have you been practicing, Jim? Like 30 years, maybe. 30, 40 years, is that right? Something like that? Something like that, okay. But Mr. James Borer Esquire will be presenting more options for college education. Okay, without putting your kids through the factory of brainwashing, known as higher education in the United States. Okay, for anyone interested in working towards a university degree, there you go. There's a class. Oh, it's not only a factory of brainwashing, it's also a factory of debt. Yes, that's a very important. Oh, they want to get you on that one too. Not only brainwashing, they want to get you stuck from early as possible. HSU Summer 2017 classes. Wow, wow, wow. Very summery, very stylish, very cute. The only thing missing is the AR-15 in summer colors. Hey, summer colors, pastels. You could do a yellow pastel with blue stripes. You could make it sweet. Summer 2017 classes. There you go. Oh, you got a video? Okay, play the video.
In my class, we will exercise together with the focus on being good stewards of our body. We'll begin each session with the reading of Scripture and connecting it to the goal of that particular class. Centered on Christ, we will work on strengthening our body to be a healthy container for the Spirit to reside. God's children were meant to hold a loving authority over the entire created world, both physical and spiritual. This class will present basic zoology, the study of animals, both wild and domestic, and the recognition of mammal, reptile, bird, and fish species. We'll also take several Saturday outings into local forests, fishing trips, small game hunting, and field trips to area zoos, wildlife rescues, stables, and kennels. The goal is to familiarize and gain an appreciation for God's creatures and share in the heart of our true Father who loved nature. In my class, we will challenge ourselves to evangelize and win the lost to Christ. By studying the book, The Way of the Master by Ray Comfort, we will equip ourselves with the spiritual tools necessary to win souls to Christ and to the three kingship providence. I hope this class will produce sanctuary evangelists who will stand in full authority as kings and queens of Chanoguk. We will have action goals every week and accountability partners who will encourage each other to pray, witness, and seed new ministries. This class is for those who have a burden for the lost and a burning desire to share the faith.
このクラスは聖書を通読することで霊的に神様と誠のお父様に出会うことを目的としています。三大王権の主管下で年代順に並べ替えた通読表を使って聖書を読み進めていきます。クラスでは聖書の基本知識を確認し、それぞれの恩恵を共に共有し、自由にディスカッションをしてクリスチャンとしての意識を高めていきます。聖書初心者、クリスチャン出身者、そしてファミリー参加者などバラエティに富んだ方々の参加を歓迎します。
Who do you say I am? Uttered by Jesus Christ, this profound question has presented the age-old challenge to believers, skeptics, scholars, and rulers. In attempting to answer this question, the true Jesus goes straight to the unimpeachable source, the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We will come face to face with the Son of God, whose sublime teachings, miraculous actions, and divine essence leap off every page and into our hearts. In this book, David Limbaugh, brother of Rush Limbaugh, examines the four gospel stories to more deeply understand the unique nature of the man who was both fully human and fully divine. My class is open to those who are new Bible readers, as well as longtime believers. I am looking forward to going on this exciting journey together with you.
イエス様は本当にメシアなのでしょうか？それとも嘘つきの大工なのでしょうか？このクラスでは日本語版神か大工かを読み、イエス様に関するディスカッションを通してイエス様に対する理解を深め、キリストとの関係を築いていくことを目的としています。このクラスは二世紀青少年のためのクラスです。
Welcome to Preparedness Peace. The unique value of this course is that it focuses on our relationships with God and Christ while presenting practical strategies for basic disaster preparedness. Biblically based, you will build according to the Lord's plans and purpose within the context of the kingdom community. This course information will change your life. Join hundreds of other families who now walk in peace because they are adequately prepared. In this class, we will watch and discuss the DVD series Love and Respect by Emerson Eggerichs. We will share our joy and struggles in the blessed marriages and what is the meaning of having a marriage from God's perspective. As expressed in Ephesians 5:33, husbands need respect, wives need love. All sisters are wholeheartedly welcome.
私のクラスでは、天地国憲法の理解を基本的な理解を深めていこうと思っております。そのために、ヒョンジー様の御言葉やクッチン様の御言葉を、経典にしてまいります。そして、また、合衆国憲法、アメリカ合衆国憲法を使ってまいります。さらにもう一つの大きな目的は、このクラスを通して、天地国憲法の良さ、天地国憲法の素晴らしさを人に伝えることができるような風にしてまいりたいと思います。
God speaks to us, offering His guidance and love every day. But how often are we able to hear His voice? The purpose of this class is to encourage you to develop a deeper relationship with God, feel His presence, and learn to tune into His voice. Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice," promising that we would hear Him clearly. In this class, we will learn the importance of developing the habit of setting aside regular time for fellowship with the Lord and to develop special sensitivity to the many ways He speaks to us. We will also experience the two-way journaling prayer by following the 4 keys to hear God's voice based on Habakkuk 2:1-2.
日本語版の神か大工かを読んでディスカッションをしながらイエス様と聖書について勉強することで自分の信仰とキリスト、メシアとの関係を見つめ直していくことが目的です。このクラスでイエス様のことを深く知れば知るほど、誠のお父様のことをより深く知ることができることでしょう。深く知ることができることでしょう。
In this class, we'll provide a primer on the Constitution of the United States of Chanoguk. We will read through the Constitution paragraph by paragraph and acquire a basic understanding of that meaning. There will be a time for discussion, but the primary emphasis will be on covering the entire document during the 12-week period.
Wow, that's cute. That's so cute. All right, everybody, let's give it up for Shina, who made that beautiful presentation. Very nice. That ending was really cute. That was cute. That was super cute. I like that end. That was cute. All right, let's keep going on through the announcements here. Go ahead, guys. Bring back that screen there. There we go. 7-day seminar OSDP. Okay, it disappeared. Okay, guys, go ahead. Bring back that thing. There you go. July 8th through 15th, 2017 at Sanctuary, Newfoundland. There's a lectures by Reverend Yu Jong-ok. Okay, so he'll be coming to give the lecture. And of course, this is the only place, now is the only place in the world where you can actually hear the original content that Father said everybody to hear. Okay, now it's going to be intensive, so it's going to be many, many hours a day. But think of it in terms of a conditional offering, like fasting, like doing those kind of conditions. Okay, so yeah, it is giving like 정성. Okay, it's sincerity, offering sincerity. Think of it in that perspective. Then it change your perspective on it. This will be an intensive course with new content added. Of course, things that happen after Father's ascension. Local guests, please register today with Lourdes. Participation fee, $300 on site, 25 and under, $100, $70 online. And talk to Lourdes for more information. Okay, so that's coming up real fast, real quick, July 8th through 15th. Also, Sanctuary Church Kingdom Gospel Bible Study. This is every Wednesday at 7 p.m. with Bill Brunhofer and Lowell Ellenson. This is the study, one of the sections here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You are studying the book of Romans, aren't you? And the New Testament. In Romans, Paul shares the spiritual gifts given to him, both the few followers of Jesus in Rome, as well as the Jews and Gentiles there, that all may be mutually encouraged by each other's faith. Please join us as we too share our own spiritual gifts and journeys of faith, that we may bring joy to our Heavenly Father and one another. So join us Wednesday, 7 p.m. with Bill and Lowell in the small sanctuary. And also August 13 through 20, registration open now at sanctuary-pa.org. The summer camp is coming up. August 13, coming up soon. Very fast, coming quick. And also connected to that will be a matching and blessing workshop at Sanctuary Summer Camp, August 13 through 20. This workshop will focus on preparing for the matching and blessing, the meaning and value of the blessing, couples relationship based upon the works of love and respect by Dr. Emerson Eggerich, Bible-based, Ephesians 5, powerful stuff. Get this empowerment, Christ-centered empowerment, before you get blessed. It's a huge blessing for you if you know these things before you get blessed, because the devil got all sorts of traps for you to fall into while you're going on your path, okay, on a blessed life. The devil puts all sorts of traps, so know them in advance. It's much better to know which traps coming up in advance. If you're playing Super Mario Brothers or whatever the stupid games are, and you know where the traps are, see how you can avoid them? Ah, now they understand. Now they get it. Oh, Lord, give me a... All right. What was that? Oh, let's call Greg up. Greg, can you explain a little more of this? Let's welcome Greg Knoll to explain a little more.
Thank you. Just a couple housekeeping issues before we talk about camp. We have to restate the policy of no food or drink in the large sanctuary. People have been sneaking in coffee and tea. They do spill. They do cause a stain. You have like 250 people here. That's a big mess for the cleanup teams. So if people could respect that, live without your caffeine for a couple hours, and just drink it in the lobby. And just, you can bring water in here, but nothing else, just water. Big shout out to the cleaning team this morning. We had Cook Janim's family here, all the kids doing cleanup. We had Tim and Nosuk Elder. We had the Ramen Montanero family cleaning up, and others. So this is really a great effort to really keep this holy place clean and pristine. So every week there's different trinities of families coming in and serving the sanctuary. So if it's your turn, the list is out in the lobby. Please make effort to be here at 8:30 in the morning and dedicate like an hour and a half of cleaning, and then the cleanup afterwards of the dishes, and making sure the sanctuary is nice and clean upon departure as well. There's a few flowers left over from Friday's event. Feel free to take some flowers on the way home today. They're over by the horse sculpture by the window. So those are free to take. If you see them there, you can take a little bunch home and for the day of all true things. Summer camp is almost full, actually. We have limited space at camp, and we're approaching the 100 mark right now. So we only have like maybe between 30 and 40 more spaces left. So if you're thinking about camp, the next deadline before the price goes up again is June 15th. So between now and June 15th, there will be a cutoff time where you call, you register, you won't be able to get in to camp. So do it now. It's better for us to organize it as well, to know who's coming so we can organize good teams. The blessing workshop also has about 20 signed up right now. We'll probably end up having between 25 and 40. So if you're thinking about wanting to learn more about the matching process, the blessing process, or if you feel like you're ready and prepared, please sign up for that as well. That's going to be a really great experience. And I just wanted to emphasize the OSDP workshop. Both Youngjanim and Cookjanim wanted to make a special exception for the 25 and under so that all young people can be exposed to this profound material. So the price was reduced from $300 to $100. That's to give special preference to that age group that may not have the resources to attend. So this is might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We don't really know. This lecturer is coming all the way from Korea. So I hope, in that effort, as many young people as possible, please sign up. Crowns. So yeah, as Doug mentioned and the King mentioned, the people participating in the crown ceremony, come and see me. I want to put you on the list so that we can then proceed down one couple at a time, one family at a time for the photo session, which will happen here around 3 o'clock. So come and see me. We'll put your name on the list, and you'll have time to prepare after the blessing today. There'll be about a half-hour block of time where you can get yourself prepared for that photo session. Along with the crowns, you can see this crown here. This is my crown, and it has not only the tongue mark, but it also has Father's signature. This was produced by our brother William. Brother William, can you stand up? Where are you? He's outside, okay. He made the special cast for this signature. And in Revelations 22, it talks about the name of God, Christ, on your forehead. So you can have that actually made on your crown. And he's very reasonable. I think he's like $20, $30, and it's like silver, some kind of casting. Really well done. And this is Father's signature, and you can wear it on your forehead, just as the Bible talks about. We also put there's Brother William up there in the corner. Raise your hand. He is, he's been a jeweler for probably, 30 years, I would say. A very accomplished jeweler. And so he can embellish your crown. He took the tongue mark and centered it for me, and Father's signature. I didn't even think of that, but he thought of that. And now he's making it available to anybody who wants it for a super reasonable price. So his email is william@bless7.com, or you can go visit with him this afternoon and you can arrange something with him. More food. We need more food. We have a lot of people here. So if everybody just pays, that's nice. But we always run short, and that creates a huge amount of stress on the kitchen food prep team. So I spoke with my wife this morning. She said if 2 people come, bring food for 4 people. If 8 people come, bring food for 16 people. So double the amount of your attendance, and that's the amount of food you should bring. So today is going to be probably a little bit of a challenge because we have so many people from out of town. But going forward, keep that in mind as you're preparing Saturday evening, Sunday morning. Prepare enough food so that everybody can have a really wonderful lunch. The people at the end of the line don't get stuck with just rice. Okay? That's the other thing. When you're the first 100 or so in line, keep in mind the second 100 behind you. Just take a small portion of everything. And then if there's food left, then you can come back and gorge yourself. But don't gorge yourself on the first time through. Okay? Be respectful of those behind you so that everybody can have a really wonderful lunch. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Okay.
Alrighty, let's go now to the next slide. And the DP road trip is coming up for Anointed 20s group. with the Anointed 20s group. We have all sorts of challenges throughout that, not trek, it's a trip, right? From northeastern Pennsylvania all the way to Key West, Florida. And there's a whole bunch of things that you got to unlock. You got to unlock a whole bunch of epigenetics as you go down. There's a whole bunch of challenges that you have to get through that are related to peace, police, peace, militia activities. And the theme, of course, is sovereignty. And also, we have here our deadline, June 17. Email Shigeru Tashiro, who is the director. We have Jamal Johnson, education and guidance. Jamal and Layla will be going with them, all the kids, right? And Lisa too. Lisa going too? All right, Lisa, we're going too. Gideon Rauchi, education program, and they're going to have some very incredible challenges, okay? They're going to be having to do some, martial arts challenges, trekking challenges, shooting challenges. Also, they'll also have to go to a nightclub, right? Well, before they go there, they're not, before they go there, they with the adults that are there to understand that culture, and then make a video reflection about how Satan is using those places. But you have to see it for yourself, so you don't get mesmerized and you're always craving to, I need to go there. You just see it with the adults first, and with the proper context. Yes. See, there's a problem. You have to, if the more Satan's world, which is pretty pathetic, remains a mystery to you young people, the more you crave it. I need to go. There's going to be something special there. No, there's drugs, alcohol, and stupid stuff. That's it. That's all you see. There's nothing special. It's just you're brain dead and you're brainwashed. So that's why you think there's something special there, but it's not true. So it's good to demystify that with responsible people. Okay, so they will be having all those very important challenges on the DP Road Trip Anointed 20s. So that's coming up. June 17th is the deadline. When are you guys leaving? July 17th. There it is. July 17th through 25. That's coming up really fast. Right after OSDP workshop, and there will be an OSDP joint package discount too connected with that, okay? Are they going to go to the beach in Miami and challenge people to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu matches? That's in there too. That's in there too, isn't it? You better be careful down in Miami. There are some high-level guys down there. Okay, Roberto Abruz down there. He's a deadly man. You don't want to challenge him. All you kids. Oh, my goodness. So there are some beasts down in Miami, but you keep it safe. Make sure they know the rules first, and they make sure they know you practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If by chance they are also practitioners, tell them that you also are training and that you're a low-level white belt. Okay? All right? Make sure you know that, because if you have to compete at the same level, they go hard, very, very hard, okay? Sanctuary Web Store is now open. Come by for all the latest products that can be found at Sanctuary Church. All proceeds go to benefit 3 Kingship Providence. Domestic and international orders now available. Visit this website for the Sanctuary Web Store. Okay, next slide. The King's Report, Monday through Saturday, 5 through 8 a.m. Hundoke time. Join our second King for inspiration and understanding our current issues. There's the Queen and Tim the Aged Elder, everybody. Whoa. Hey, who's that handsome young man over there? Oh, there he is. There he is over there. There he is. The famous agent of Chanyeoguk. Did you know this? What is the FBI or CIA? They tried to hire him after he left the foundation, because obviously he's an honorable man, and he said, no, I can't do this. They're betraying father, so I'm going to leave. So he resigned. The FBI or CIA, what was it? Well, which one was it? Anyways, one of them. They tried to hire Tim, Agent Elder. Did you know that? Because he has all these languages and everything. They wanted him to work for the Archangel. But he said, no. He said no. They were going to pay him a lot too. Give you lots of money to work for Satan. Yep, but he was approached by the Black Ops organizations. Brides of Christ marksmanship practice, first and third Sundays, 3:30 through 4:30. No practice during special church events. Biogs and ammo. What does biogs mean? Okay, good. There you go. Everybody knows. Bring your own guns and ammo. Targets are provided. See Lisa Ellenson. And there's our poster girl, Martha Tashiro. Look at her. Whoa, where's our poster girl? Where's our hot model? Where are you, hot lady? Okay. I can't see our sizzling lady, Martha. He's hot like fire. Like literally fire, okay? But there she is. See Lisa Ellenson. Ellenson at pdd.net. And make sure the ladies, you get your Peace Militia training on. Also, fellowship potluck, all are welcome to enjoy it. Thank you for all wonderful potluck dishes. We had an announcement about that. Kids respect the adults at lunch on Sunday. They're doing a great job there. Please do not take food into the small chapel library. Bring a dessert, make it a healthy one. If you could bring food, $5 to $10 donation to cover purchase of additional food will be appreciated. And let's give it up for our food ministry team, everybody. They always prepare the wonderful meals. And the Daughters of Christ Bakery bake sale is today as well. Support the sanctuary homeschool students. Raise money for a special trip to Thailand and Cambodia. And this will be held during the potluck lunch. Okay? So we have the Daughters of Christ Bakery bake sale as well. Sunday school time. Remind all parents, please keep an eye on your children. Playing near the road may be dangerous. And let's give it a one time for our Sunday school teachers. Okay, kids, you can go to Sunday school. And let's go to our word today. Oh, before I do, we have some slides. There you go, folks, the new King's Report logo. Hey, there you go. You can see it. You see the shield of faith right there? You see the sword of the word of God? You see the three crowns, the three kingships? And of course, we have the ARs. We have the ARs. The ARs are it's like the modern day samurai sword, okay? So it really is absolutely essential. And you may be a liberal lunatic and you don't understand this culture. That's because unfortunately, you're in a slave mentality. Every nation, every sovereign has a coat of arms. Because you're not a sovereign if you can't defend your arms. The British Crown has a royal crest. Also, every nation has what is known as a gun salute after the national anthem is sung. You can go to the Philippines and see a gun salute. You can go to South Korea, even Japan, and see a gun salute. Of course, in America, you can see it. Everywhere you go. See, but the people who rail against it, they want you to remain as slaves. They don't want you to have sovereignty. They don't understand that this is an actual nation, the kingdom of God, that will be established on earth. So it's important, and our brothers and sisters as well, we have a whole team that will be preparing like a Marines style gun salute for the next event in 3-4 months. So we'll have that. Our brothers and Doug and Lowell and Robbie and all those guys will be preparing that beautiful ceremony. But we have to understand this in the context of the nation, folks. Very, very important. Every nation must be able to defend its borders, its language, and its culture. And that's why we, of course, stay with the language that Father gave us. Peace, police, peace, militia is his language. You know, it would be really cool to have that in like Chinese characters, Pyongyang, Kun, Kyongchang. That would be a sweet logo too. That would be very sweet. Put on the ARs or whatever. Very, very cool. But we have our own language too. Culture, borders, and also we're able to protect those borders, okay? Very, very important. Now, who saw Lisa's wonderful presentation on the Second Amendment yesterday? Wasn't that amazing? Did you see her slides? I should have got those slides from you. But you see the slides where she brought up the car and the dog and what else was there? There's a plane. What else was there? And a gun. Remember that? And she asked if it gives you any emotional reaction. And these are all like normal, you know, just a car and whatever. Then she turned it around and had a next slide where the car is like crash, it's smashed. Or she had, what had you had the planes? Oh, the planes running to 9/11, blowing up the World Trade Center. Or the gun, the Chinese using the gun to shoot a woman in the head because she was not a commie. Okay, executing the women. and the Falun Gong members, evangelical Christians, etc. And then she had a dog that was like, "Rah," it was like "Rah." You saw the teeth and everything, right? And then you can see a beautiful point. She said it's the motivation. When it's used for evil, it becomes evil. Right? But then she had the next slide, and what was that? She had the Air Force. The airplanes were the Air Force. The car was what? What was the car? Fire car. It was a fire car. It was a fire Camaro or Corvette. I haven't seen that town yet, but the young people are trying to get that job right now. They may get beat up by their senior managers, though. And then what else? Then the doggy was a dog with the lifeguard dog, rescue dog. And then what was it? The mom with the baby carrying the AR. Now that's different. See, those tools become different because of motivation. Do you see? The tools become different because they're protecting something good. And they are their power that's used for righteousness. Now it's the liberal cultists and then the liberal pagans and the occult and the elites that want you to believe that you must not touch it, holy people shouldn't touch it, religious people shouldn't touch it. Oh, that's not real. Why? Because they want to touch it and they want it controlled. But we have to understand God's kingdom will not only be spiritual. Those who believe it will be spiritual will not be able to enter the physical kingdom. God's kingdom will be physical as well. And so just as it is physical as well, and God is manifesting his kingdom and his righteousness centered on the center of the kingdom, which is the King of Kings and his culture. I love it how these family fraud leftist lunatics, who are basically, they're completely Hillary supporters, they're complete leftist communists. Many of them. And they're trying to pretend that Father is some kind of commie, leftist. Ridiculous. And then, of course, they get very up in arms when I put pictures of the second king holding the AR or whatever. They get so excited. And so we just put up more. We just put up more of those pictures. But it's so funny. Whenever they put those pictures, oh, look at those. How can you have... Then Lisa will post a picture of Father shooting a gun and hunting. And then all of a sudden they become silent and they want to, put their head in the sand. Oh, no, that never happened. I never saw that picture. Never. No, Father never started an arms business. His first business was not in air guns and firearms. His second business career was not producing the Vulcan cannon for the Korean military. No. We don't want to hear that because it doesn't fit our little narrative of, oh, we're holy and we're peaceful little Buddhists. See, it's so fake. It's so fake. They don't love Father. They love their own narrative that makes them feel justified in their liberal, progressive, quote, progressive communist values, totalitarian values, who want good people to be disarmed so you become slaves to them. See, they have no problem using the state and the superstate to force you with the power of guns, police with guns and uniforms with guns, to take them from you. That's how. You see, they're moral posturing, virtue signaling fakes. They don't care about humanity. They don't care about the normal person. They don't want the normal person to have rights. Only if it's approved by them and their supreme council and their political correctness cult. That's pathetic. That's weak. And good people should never be intimidated by those kind of pathetic jellyfish. They're only totalitarians masquerading as good people. But this is what's happening now in the time right after. Kuk-chong mentioned this in the Q&A. How amazing was that Q&A last night, folks? Wow. But he mentioned it. Only after Father ascended, now you can actually see Satan's kingdom. You can see it. You can see Satan's kingdom. You can see who the actual leaders are. You can see who the actual elites are. You can see them. You can see them. They're visible. They used to be able to hide behind moral posturing and virtue signaling. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, the Bushes, who Father said, you are the king of Satan's world. You better listen to Reverend Moon and not go to war in the Middle East, which he did and disobeyed him. Bloomberg, who else? Rothschilds, the Soroses. You can now see them. You can see them. They're no longer these mysterious figures that if you even bring up their names, everybody's like, ah ha ha, you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, you wear a tinfoil hat. Nobody can do that now. They're out in the open. So it's become a totally different time where actually now you can see the actual rulers of this world, the actual evildoers of this world, the actual totalitarians who pose as good people, but they're totally wicked. And Trump is, of course, going after their pedophile cults, their satanic rituals. He's going after them. That's why they want him dead. They want him dead as a doornail. Did you see what he did with the climate change agenda? He said, nope, I'm not going to sign it. Did you see that? That was great. Fantastic. Stupid, brainwashed children buying the climate change, not understanding this is how you tax the world population and make poor people even more poor. And the super elites get, what's his name? Al Gore is in carbon trading company. Oh, it's not a surprise. His company all of a sudden makes billions after the stupid little climate change agenda scare that he's doing all around the world. Oh, but see, no. They don't want young kids to be awake. They don't want young kids to understand how they're playing everybody. They don't want young kids to understand how they tax farm people. They want to keep them dumb, uninformed, watching their celebrity cults and just listening to their government officials and believing that's the way to the kingdom. When that's the way to hell. That's the way to the Supreme Council and the false Chinese Constitution, which is the kingdom of hell on earth, where you are a slave. God's kingdom is not a kingdom of slaves. God's kingdom is a kingdom where the King of Kings is standing together with the co-heirs with Christ, the kings and queens of Chanuguk. This is the kingdom, folks. Wow. So beautiful, beautiful logo. Hey, there's some of our young girls. Look at them. There's some of our Korean girls who came. Now they're from a culture where you can't do that. There's you and I right there. I see her right there. That's one of them. There's the Lee girls up there, and then the they're all Lees, aren't they? Are they all Lees? Former name Lees, maiden name Lees. Igyung. Kwon. Kwon Ying. Okay. That's good composition. I'm surprised. That's actually good composition. Because they didn't just like, okay, girls, just pose, and they just went and did that. They definitely said, you point this way, you point this way, you point that way, you point. I know they did that. Who composed? You composed it, Rio? Hey, you're not that bad. That's not bad. It looks pretty cool. So I know you didn't say, okay, girls, let's take a photo, and they just immediately jumped in those poses. I know they didn't do that. Very cool. There's Eugenie with the big black gun. There it is. That's a empowered woman. See, you have to understand, folks, archangels and Satanists are so into symbology. And now you can even have lower level Satanists who are being drawn into the occult. They don't even call it Satanism at that point. They just call it occult, secret knowledge, enlightenment, all those kind of things to draw you in. That can be with the early phases of yoga or Buddhism, etc., to bring you into the occult. Those are all just preparatory schools to see who they want to bring in. Because the conclusion is the same. I've studied Buddhism 10 years plus. I know the conclusion of Buddhism. I know it. And I've seen all the comparative between all the different schools too. So I know that they fight amongst each other. And I also know their conclusions at the end, which is all simple at the end. In the end, it is you have a mind of non-duality. You have a mind that transcends good and evil. You can actually determine good and evil. That is Satanism. That's exactly what actual Satanism believes. Okay? But of course, they don't package it as Satanism in the beginning or occult. But all those little funnels, whether it's Gnosticism, witchcraft, whatever, they all lead to the different levels of Satanism and self-worship, idolatry, worship of yourself, etc. No, you are not God. You cannot create distinction between good and evil. Good and evil comes out of the reflection of the Creator, of the actual character of the Creator. That's where we get good and evil. Not from you thinking you're a Buddha and you think you can decide good and evil. That's what Hitler believed, even though he wasn't openly a Buddhist. Even though he used the swastika symbol, which is actually a Buddhist symbol and Hindu symbol from India. If you have knowledge, you actually know these things. It is an ancient Indo religious symbol, the swastika. It's not a German symbol. And no, he was not a Christian, even though the Catholic Church supported him. He hated Christianity. He said it was the vilest theology in the world, but he would use it to consolidate power. But he hated the gospel. He hated it, even though he pretended to be a Christian and worked with Catholicism, who supported them. Isn't it funny that the Catholic Church always is supporting these totalitarians? Isn't it funny also radical Islam was also supporting Hitler? All the same groups, same groups. See, they were invisible. Before Father ascended, they were invisible to the world. Now they are visible. You can see who these evil people are. And they all have the same exact philosophy. Same thing. They're gods. They're the special enlightened class. And everybody should be disarmed and listen to their rules. That's what their whole world governance pushes about. So we've talked about this for years. And of course, we warned you for a year plus that the persecution of Christians will become greater. I love it how they always teach the kids, oh, well, did you know, well, it's not only Islam that does terrorism, you know, there's a lot of Christian terrorism too. I mean, have you ever heard of the Crusades? How many teachers, how many heard that? On media, from your teachers, from comedians on TV. They always give the same stupid, ridiculous, it's so ahistorical, it's ridiculous. What happened in the Crusade, folks? Was that an actual war where Christians were saying, let's conquer the world? Hello? The Islamic marauders had already taken over Portugal, taken the whole country. The whole country is gone. Spain, gone. Southern Italy, gone. You understand? They were becoming Muslim countries. What was happening? Constantinople, Turkey as well, fallen. What was happening? They were on the steps of Berlin. What were they doing? They were conquering the white European nations, and what were they replacing it with? Sharia law, etc. But what? The Arabian slave trade. Historians have done studies comparing the Western slave trade to the Arabian slave trade. And they found that 2 times more in the Arabian slave trade, women were traded. For what? Sex. This was a sex trade. But because you're so ignorant and know nothing about the Quran, and are scared to even look into it because the political correctness cult that is all around saying, don't you dare say anything about Islam. You're just fearful. You are the one who is ignorant. You are the one who has no intelligence. You are the one who is brain dead and controlled. Because when you actually look into Islam, and David Wood has done all the videos on it, he's the expert, showing the legality of conquest and taking on women's sex slaves. That's in Surah 424. Possess them with your right hand. That is illegal. Legal in Sharia law. Of course, the Western person is so unintelligible about anything Islamic, so they can just get away with saying, no, we believe in Jesus. We believe, it's all the same. It's all the same. They get away with it. It's a radically different culture. Pedophilia is legal. Why? We all know it here, and David Wood and Christians now are waking up to it. Normal people are waking up to it. Even atheists hate Islam. At least ones that are actually studying, looking into it. Like Sam Harris, one of the top, quote, atheists that debates, some Christian apologetics apologists like William Lane Craig. He's a total atheist, Sam Harris. But he hates Islam. Because he actually studies it to understand what it's about. Unlike the lower level brain-dead, lunatic, leftist cultists who don't even look at it because everybody else will pressure them and say, oh, how dare you? Are you bigoted? You're fearful and you're weak. That's all you are. You don't want to look into reality because it gives you a bad feeling. And that's what happens. Even Sam Harris, an open atheist, who goes on defends philosophical atheism. I wouldn't say so well, but he thinks he's smart. Detests the culture of Islam. Pedophilia is allowed. Why? Because the Prophet of Islam married a 6-year-old girl Having sex with them at 9 years old. That's prepubescent. That's an elementary school age child. So why do you think child marriage is what they had the nice way to call it? It's having sex with children. Married, and you're quote married. Why do you think that's legal all over the Muslim world? Because it's part of a different civilization, folks. Different ethical system. Different civilization. Different book. Creates a completely different culture. Jesus said, if you harm one of these, it would be better than a millstone be put around your neck and you'll be thrown into the sea. That means kill that guy. That is an appropriate punishment for, Cook John was talking about it yesterday, appropriate punishment for those child rapists and pedophiles. They get into schools too. Oh, those Christians were so evil with the Salem witch trials. And oh, they killed all those witches. Oh, yes, those Christians are so evil. It's the Christians. Yes, yes. So those nice witches. They're so nice, like Meryl Streep in the movie Hocus Pocus. They're so nice and so trendy, and they wear jewelry and nice dresses. They only ate children at night, and they only, had their stupid witches brew. They don't mention the fact that a lot of these witches were in the occult. They were doing child sacrifices. They were slitting kids' throats and taking their blood for their witches' brews, for their insane ceremonies, like Marina Abramovich. They don't mention that that was mixing different types of occultism to Satanism, Luciferianism, and the newly understood Eastern occult that Schopenhauer even writing about. Hinduism. He was exploring Hinduism. Schopenhauer. One of the top Western postmodern philosophers. But normal kids don't even know who Schopenhauer is. They're totally brain dead. They have no knowledge, no real understanding. And they think they're in the group, and they think they're smart because they watch Stephen Colbert, or they watch, what's his face on CNN? What's that? Anderson. What's that? Anderson Cooper. Or some what is it? Or the Young Turks. And what's his name? Chunk Yogurt. Cenk Uyghur's name, but he's called Chunk Yogurt. Ridiculous. The Crusades were not an offensive war. Christians were not banding against, hey, you know what? Arabia looks pretty good. Arabia looks pretty good. Hey, those Arabian women, they're really hot. Let's go take it over. Christians were not doing that. You understand? They're not going and looking in Africa and say, hey, Africa looks pretty good. Let's take that over. They weren't doing that in the, quote, medieval dark age period. And the Crusades coming about, they were not saying, hey, let's go take over those civilizations. They were defending their lives. It's called survival. You have a different civilization moving in by force. They're not coming in with flowers or whatever, passports and flowers. Is that a new phrase? Passports and flowers? Okay. They're coming in with force, you understand? Killing. You convert to Islam or you die. We take your women. 2. Okay, so if you're going to be doing that, then we're going to fight back. That's called survival. That's called self-defense. Okay, if you're going to be doing that to our nation, I think we're going to fight back. That makes sense, doesn't it? They actually value their families. They value their wife. They value their daughters. They don't just want a moral posture. Say, okay, yes, have my daughter because I'm so modern, I'm so liberal, I'm so trendy. Yes, have her, please. That's how compassionate I am for you. Do what you will with her. I know you're loving. You're a loving liberal. I know you'll take care of her. Just bring her back before 2 in the morning. That's how you prove your worth in this cult. Now, it is insane. Completely fake. And they always never tell the kids, this was a defensive war. The Christians were trying to stay alive. They didn't want their women to go into slave trade. They didn't want their wives and daughters to be married to 40-year-old men when they're 6 years old. Do you understand why a father would fight against that? The Crusades were not to conquer the world. It was a defensive war. I mean, people are just so unbelievably uneducated. It's ridiculous. That's why they can get away with just lying to your face with stupid comedians to make you actually believe their narrative, which is a complete ahistorical narrative. Has no basis in reality. It's just like believing in fairy tales. Of course, they criticize religions for doing that. Meanwhile, they're believing in all sorts of fairy tales. Absolutely ridiculous. But we told you that the demonization process would begin. Why? Because Christians are the only one with a powerful left civilization that is opposite to the totalitarian left, that is opposite to the pedophile cults, that is opposite to radical Islam, that is opposite to these cultures, that actually is strong enough as a civilization, as a culture, and as men and women to fight back. Okay? And they worked on Christianity for a long time with the federal bureaucracies, making it illegal for pastors to speak out against satanic policies. Okay? But they know that the Christians are the greatest threat. That was out in 2008 with the FBI declassified documents. Christians, gun owners, evangelical Christians. Catholics are a little better for them. They like Catholics a little more because they'll listen to the hierarchy. So the demonization process begins. We showed this, let me show you this here. Here's a new video game coming out called Far Cry 5, and you brain-dead young dumb boys, don't be stupid. Look at this, you gotta be able to analyze with your brain, you dummies. Don't be so freaking idiotic. Hey, a cool game, yeah! Use your brain! Now, who are the enemies in this video game that they're gonna pump out to the young boys, brain-dead boys who are addicted to video games? Who is the new terrorist group in this video game that's coming out 2017? There you go. There you go. There are Christians, Bible-believing Christians. There's the bread and the wine. There's AR-15s and everything on the table. Apple pies right here. Red steak. Crosses everywhere. And look, even on the American flag, they got the crosses. You see that? What was it? What was it? It's our Last Supper scene. Yeah, look, Last Supper scene. And they got all these white guys from Montana. With beards. Oh, I see one right there with a beard on his white day. See? This is the demonization process, folks. I told you. We told you. The demonization of Christians will begin. Why? Because it is the only civilization strong enough, and they know that it's strong enough. And especially in the West, it is the only civilization that's ready and willing to die to preserve its values and ethics. And not to be taken over by Satanism in all its various forms of the four horsemen, which we've talked about a million times. You see that? Now, there it is. That's the new game, 2017. Big, big, big blockbuster game coming out. To demonize Christians. Anybody, look at this. And also hunters. Look at that. They got the hunting arrow here. The Hoyt arrow. The Hoyt, or whatever. And then there's this guy. They got this guy and they carved sinner in his back. And they're the bad guys. See? See how they're trying to create the narrative of Christians are evil? Bible-believing Christians are even worse? Red meat-eating people are bad? Look at they got the steak right there. Gun owners are bad. Because if you ever met a gun owner who's an evangelical Christian, they're some of the most responsible people you'll meet. But what are they? They're not centralized. They don't like centralized power. Because just like the founding fathers, by the way, all those founding fathers that started this nation, which they are trying to tear apart, the leftist party, the communist party, guess what? All of them were Christian, white Christians with beards. Okay, maybe not beards, but Christians. And they're white. And they had seen what happened in Europe. They had seen the takeover with using the banking system, banking cartel system, economic slavery. They've seen that system in Europe. They've seen it. And they were gun owners. All the founding fathers were gun owners. All of them were Christian or related to Christianity, at least Christian principles, Christian values. The Constitution of the United States also is one of the very unique constitutions that give praise to the Judeo-Christian God. It's a civilization based on the ethics that comes from Christianity. Not exploiting the poor, which the leftist party does all the time for their political advancement. Not protecting widows, which a Christian community is to do. And of course, third, protecting the children. So the Satanists and the little demons and the witches and the pedophiles don't get them. You see, that creates a totally different civilization. Or somebody who wants to marry a child bride, don't get them. Do you see why the cultures are different? Civilizations are different. Cultures are different. Decentralized Christian culture is better. You can't say that. You can't say, oh, you're not allowed to say, so this culture is better than that culture. No, you can. You can. It's objectively better. There's more freedom for women. There's more freedom for families. There's more sovereignty per person. There's ownership of private property. There's less federal bureaucracy to rule over your life and tell you what you can and cannot do. There's more welfare, general welfare. Do you know before the welfare state in the U.S., over 10,000 organizations were doing welfare. All the churches were doing it. Individuals who had money were doing it. They were doing better than the government because they made you accountable when they gave you a welfare. They didn't just drop money on you. You have to change. You have to show advancement. Then they want to support you, etc. 10,000 plus organizations doing welfare. 10,000 across the U.S. What happened? The government takes it away and says, no, we want all that credit. We want the credit for doing the good. We are the politicians. We want the credit for doing the good. We're going to take over that whole industry. You guys can't do it. You can only do it if you work through us. Christian civilization, decentralized Christian civilization, is better than anything else the world has ever produced. Anything. I study Buddhism. I've seen the Buddhist cultures. I've been to the different Buddhist lands. I met the Dalai Lama. There's nothing comparable in terms of actual human freedom, sovereignty, and responsibility. Nothing. Nothing in Buddhist history comparable. Even though the West tries to, they're infatuated with Buddhism. They're like, oh, Buddhism is so different and so special. And it's like Master Yoda was a Buddha, and Star Wars was made after the Shaolin monks. I am a Shaolin monk, you understand? I trained in Shaolin. My teacher, De Chao Hujang, who's like 36th generation Shaolin, said I'm 37th generation Shaolin. I didn't go through some ordination process or anything, but he just said that. You understand? I'm somebody who did that stuff. And I've seen it. Seen it all the way through, and I know the conclusion. It's different. It's not nowhere near Christian civilization. Decentralized Christian civilization gives the most freedom and the most responsibility for the normal person in the history of the world. That's why it created the greatest, most prosperous, most prosperous nation in the world before it got taken over by the commies and the Rothschilds, which was just part of the English hegemony. Communist hegemony, that's all it is. Totalitarian hegemony. But you can now see all the evil players. You can see the Queen of England and their monarchy. Wicked. They are totalitarians. They are connected with Jimmy Savile and pedophiles. You can see the Bilderberg groups. You can see the Davos group people. You can see the George Soroses. You can see the Bloombergs, who are part of that pedophile group too, with Jeff Epstein and Hillary and Bill Clinton. You can see them now. You couldn't see them 3-4 years ago. If you even said anything like this, you'd be a nut. Now we can actually see who are the satanic rulers. That's absolutely humongous change. But here they go now, starting with the narrative, folks, trying to say Christians are evil because you believe in Christ and you won't bow down to the state, and you won't bow down to their little cult of Meryl Streep and Michelle Obama and Linda Sarsour, you are a terrorist. Because you won't bow down to the taking over of Western civilization by Islam and radical Islam, partnered up with the Bilderberg Group and the bankers. Well, you're evil then. You're a terrorist. Because you don't let us ravage, rape, and resource rape and harvest your people. You're so bad, you don't want your people to be harvested. How evil are you? You're so wicked. You're so selfish. Why don't you just let them harvest your children? What's wrong with you? You're so selfish. Yeah. But now the narrative is beginning. You'll go and see this more hardcore. Why? They're fighting for their lives. Trump has arrested over 3,000 pedophiles in the United States in the last 4 months. He's given the green light to go after the sex traffickers. He's given the green light to go after MS-13 and ISIS and all those fools. He's given the green light. This is probably the reason why in the Latino community he's got that 47% approve rating. This is the highest of any president. Because they don't want MS-13. They don't want MS-13 messing in their neighborhood. They want their kids to grow up without the threat of that drug violence and death all the time. The narrative of Christians, especially Bible-believing Christians, folks. See. The Catholics are a different group. They're not going to go after the Catholics so much because they know the Catholics are with the Pope. They're involved in the whole Bilderberg group, Davos group. Involved with one of the largest central banking systems in the world. The Vatican Bank is one of the largest international central banks. Cannot be audited. Go try to audit it. Go ahead. Try to audit the Vatican Bank. Let's see how far you get. Can't audit it. Decentralized. Christian, Bible-believing. What does it mean, Bible-believing? Does that mean Christians literally believe like Genesis was created in 6 days? This is what they make people believe. No, you can be a Bible-believing Christian and understand that those are symbolic representations of time. I had one of the top-level apologists, William Lane Craig, explaining, for example, on the 7th day, the day doesn't actually end. So that's one hint that these are not 24-day periods. Also on the 3rd day, God says, let the tree grow and bear fruit, which takes more than a 24-hour period. So even a Bible-believing Christian, and it doesn't mean you have to, even those who never saw the DP, you can still understand the different genres of the different books in the Bible. But no, they want to lump you up in these, you believe everything literally, even though the books were not meant to be literal. Certain books are not meant to be literal. Like the Psalms, these are not literal texts. When they say the trees are clapping with their hands, God does not mean that the trees are actually clapping with their hands. See, the Psalms are a poetic genre of books or literature. Do you see? The Proverbs literature is a wisdom-based literature. The Gospels are the narratives of Christ. They are historical. There are codes of ethic, Leviticus and Deuteronomy, etc. There are different genres of literature within the Bible. But these people are so uneducated about the Bible, they just want you to believe that, oh, if somebody's Bible-believing, you're stupid, and you're uneducated, and you're unscientific, and you believe literal 7-day creation. Which is not the case at all. Decentralized Christianity with, and especially Second Amendment people, the gun owners. See how they're demonizing gun owners? Oh, if a person who wants to defend sovereignty and wants to have the right to bear arms at the same level as any other totalitarian state in the world, well, that person's bad. No, only the state can do it. Only people with special uniforms and special hats and special colored outfits ordained by the state religion government can own these firearms. It's not bad if they own it. See, it's not bad if they own it. It's not bad if they use them. It's not bad if they can use them to force you to pay taxes, which are illegal. That's not bad. That's good. You're doing your duty. But it's bad if good people or normal citizens who just want to protect their family and take them out to a movie and dinner once in a while. It's bad if they have it. See that? It's ridiculous. When they say disarmament, they don't mean get rid of all the guns. They mean give us all the guns. It's like, what's that Nemo? Remember what's in the movie Nemo? That big shark, what's his name? Bruce. Bruce, he's the vegetarian shark apparently. Right? And he gets withdrawal when he smells blood. He turns, he goes crazy. It's like Big Bruce, with the big shark eyes and a big, yes, Nemo, give me the gun. Oh, good, give it. It's exactly like that. Those predators, those sharks, huge beasts. Yes, little baby, give me, oh yes, give me your guns. Yes, good. It's exactly the same. If you saw that in a movie, you would say, no, don't do it, Nemo, don't do it. But then you're not in the movie, and then you do it. There's a problem. Why? Because you don't understand. You are in a movie. You are in the greatest epic drama that is unfolding in the history of the universe. You're not spectators, you are participating in this epic drama that's unfolding. Okay, but anyways, we told you about this years ago. It's now starting. The narrative of Christians, the Bible-believing Christians, as uneducated, they live in Montana, they have beards, they have farms. Oh, look, they have farms in the back. They got farms, they own land. They have a radio station. They hunt. See, they eat red meat. They eat apple pie. And of course, here they are. There's the American flag, and they're saying the Americans now are the terrorists. It's the Americans. See, it's the American Christian that is a terrorist. No, it's not the Pope who says you can't build walls, otherwise you're not a Christian if you build walls. Yet he lives in a palace with 200-foot walls. What a stupid idiot is this. What a pathetic, white-clad, fake religious leader. What a fake. Fish hat wearing. Ridiculous. You can't be a Christian if you build walls. Why the heck you have walls then? Why do you have walls? You have to let them all pour in. Why don't you let them pour into your country? You have sovereignty over your country. Stop lecturing the world that everybody else should be letting radical Muslim people, migrants from radical places pour in. Not saying that all of them are radical, but there's a good 10%, according to FBI statistics. Probably 30, 40 it could be in some places, from certain countries. No. Saudi Arabia won't take any, the Vatican won't take any, but everybody else has to take them all. Because they can sit there and lecture you with their white robes and Saudi Arabian white robes and all the little hats and whatever that. Oh, yes, we're holy men. Yeah, you take them all. You take them all. Don't build walls. If you build walls, you're racist. If you build walls, you're not a Christian. Meanwhile, bye-bye, and I go back to my 200-foot wall, Vatican. Bye-bye, and I go back to my, caliphate with a haram of, 4,000 women. Give me a break. Do you see what I'm saying? How ridiculous that is? It's absurd. Absurd. But of course, no. The normal Christian gun owner, that's the dangerous person. That's the one you better watch out for. Don't watch out. Saudi Arabian king, pedophile networks, and he's married to 6-year-old brides. That's fine. That's modern, that's trendy, that's liberal. But the normal Christian who owns guns, they are going to get you. Oh, don't worry about the Pope who lectures you about being Christian and loving. Meanwhile, he doesn't let any radical Muslims into his country. No. He's not a problem pushing global climate change agenda, pushing for world governance and taxing poor people, a carbon tax for breathing air. No, he's not a threat to you. You know who's a threat to you? A white person who reads the Bible. This is ridiculous reverse racism. It's ridiculous. They know the super elite on the liberal progressive side are totally racist. They even, Veritas Project, get the Hillary Rodham Clinton campaign managers saying racist things about black people. Got them on tape saying that. It's part of their elitist culture. Ha ha ha. Yeah, they're just blacks. Oh, we love you, we want to protect you, vote for us, okay? Thank you. Give me a break. Ridiculous. But it's now beginning. It's now beginning, folks. Okay. Announcements are over. Now, okay, let's go through this, okay, because this is interesting. We now get to our scripture, but this is an interesting scripture because Paul's in prison. He's in prison for being a terrorist, okay? Paul's in prison. He's now in captivity in Rome because he's, quote, inciting violence and inciting riots. Oh, who said he was inciting riots? Well, the Pharisees. Who are who? They're working for the Roman state. So they're basically information intelligence agency gatherers for the Jewish population. You know, see how the FBI or CIA, they'll put, in terms of black community, they'll put a black manager there. Or they'll put, like Chinatown, they'll put a Chinese cops in, Chinese CIA directors in. To keep the Chinese in line. In Koreatown is going to be the Korea person. In Vietnamese town is going to be Vietnamese. In Cambodia town is going to be Cambodian. They're going to get the sellout, put him in power, to keep everybody else in line. Same thing, same exact thing. Every hegemony works the same way. Every totalitarian state works the same way. And they had the Pharisees, who are the sellouts, moral postures, fakers, like Hillary Clinton. And they're the ones getting all the praise. They're the ones, the holy men, like pretending to be the holy religious people. Meanwhile, they're colluding with the most pedophilic, child trafficking empire in the world. Sex cults were rampant in the Roman culture, civilization. Did you know that when you study philosophy as a young boy, you would be raped by your philosophy teacher? That was the height of agape love, apparently. You would share both your mind and your body with your philosophy teacher. As a boy. That's homosexual raping. Why? Because that destroys young boys, and by the time they get up to become an adult, they'll never be able to fight against it. Because they'll be so internally, psychologically damaged. So inculcated into the cult. That's why all these secret societies have all these sex rituals that they force people to do. But that's a situation of Paul. He's cited for inciting violence and riots in the streets of Rome. The Pharisees and the opposers of Christ. Of course, Paul's doing nothing. He's just going around talking to people. He's going and he's beating the philosophers. He's going and starting up churches that are actually helping the poor and taking care of widows and protecting children. All around the Mediterranean. Oh, but that's a crime because, oh, if you do too much good stuff like that, well, then the Roman government looks like trash. You see that? Oh, we can't have that. He's making us look bad. Get him. Well, the Pharisee says he's inciting riots, and he's some crazy man, so okay, we'll imprison him. Then he'll have an audience with this king, and then it'll be Caesar at some point. So that's where Paul is now. He's in prison, and he's now writing to the church in Colossus, okay, which is right here. You can see that's ancient Turkey, right here in Phrygia. Okay, that's ancient Turkey right here. That's the Galatia here, Lysonia here, Cappadocia here, etc. Syria down here. Mesopotamia right down here, okay? So that's where he's at. And he says in Colossians 4, there's another kingdom scripture mentioned, so that's why we're studying it today. Let's read from 7. All my state shall Tychicus declare unto you, who is a beloved brother and a faithful minister and fellow servant in the Lord, whom I have sent unto you for the same purpose, that he might know your estate and comfort your hearts, with Onesimus, a faithful and beloved brother, who is one of you. They shall make known unto you all things which are done here. Aristarchus, my fellow prisoner, saluteth you. And Marcus, sister's son to Barnabas, touching whom ye receive commandments, if he come unto you, receive him. And Jesus is not the Jesus, Yeshua, and Jesus, which is called Justus, who are of circumcision. These only are my fellow workers unto the kingdom of God, which have been a comfort to me. A comfort to me. Isn't that an interesting passage, given his context where he's at? In prison for inciting violence, in prison for being a radical terrorist, in prison for being a Christian who won't bow to the cult of the state and the religion of the state. Hey, that kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it? So you have Tychicus here. Interesting. If we look into him, let's get a brief on him. Okay, here we go. What's interesting about this whole place where Paul is at, in Colossus, it was a trading route. So here, they're trading wool. There's a wool that's special in the Colossus area. Wool. Isn't that interesting? And thread and this kind of like fabric. And there's a big trading route there, and what's very popular in Colossus, as you can see, as his letter to the Colossians is mostly dealing with, is what's known as religious syncretism. What's that? Where you blend Christianity with Gnosticism, with Buddhism, Hinduism, etc. You're blending it. You're synchronizing it. I told you this is what some of the family fathers who actually think they're smart, but they're stupid, would try to do. Oh, well, father has his text. Well, mother has his text. Well, we'll just take both. They're thinking that that's some kind of amazing intellectual achievement. When it's the most pathetic syncretism that we've seen for thousands of years. But that's how brain dead they are. But they like to pat themselves on the back and say they're very intellectually achieving. But this is what Colossus was guilty of. Almost all the letters of Paul to the Colossian church is about syncretism. Don't blend these things. Be careful. You have to stay centered on Christ. Be careful. Once you start blending these Gnostic religions, you can get something that's very far from Jesus. So he's giving this kind of warning in this, because this is a multicultural area. This is a trade route area. It's one of the 6 big cities. And he's writing to them. Now Tychicus, a beloved brother, apparently the Colossian Christians didn't know who Tychicus was. He would carry this letter to them. Let's look at some history on this guy. Apparently, Epaphras, who brought the news from Colossus to Paul in Rome, would not return to Colossus soon. Soon Paul sent Tychicus instead. Tychicus is mentioned also in Acts 20 as one of the men who came with Paul from the Roman province of Asia to Jerusalem to carry the offering of those who believers to the needy Christians of Jerusalem and Judea. The reference to Tychicus is also almost word for word identical with Ephesians 6. He was evidently the bearer of the letter to the Ephesians as well as this one. So there's obviously somebody that Paul trusts greatly to deliver letters that he's written pen by hand, that he won't change the content of those letters. He trusts this man, that this guy will deliver those letters to those different communities. And you have to understand, with these apostolic letters, the churches were sharing them. Okay? So even in this Colossians 4, he says, oh, let the Laodiceans see them too, and also read their documents that I wrote to them. So Paul is talking about share these apostolic letters. He's talking about that. So amongst the churches, don't just keep them for yourself. Share them with the other churches that are near you, so that they know what to be wary of. Is that interesting? Interesting background. Okay? So Tychicus is somebody who's traveling with Paul, who's on many missions with Paul, and of course is entrusted, he's trustworthy enough that Paul would send him to the different churches representing or carrying his letter and believing that this guy won't change the content of those letters. Does that make sense? So he trusts him. You don't just give that to anybody. You don't give your iPhone with the password to anybody, right? Do you do that? That's what he's doing. He's giving his iPhone with the password to the guy. Some of you don't even do that to your husband or wife. Right? So Paul really trusts this guy, Tychicus. He's giving his iPhone and his password to him to go across and deliver these messages. Okay? Or his email. How many share their email and password to all your friends? Okay, see that? How many share with your spouse? Okay, so see, that's a different level of trust, right? So you have to see in this context. That's how much he trusts these guys, okay? Look at Onesimus. He's a very interesting character. Onesimus. How many heard of Onesimus? He is the servant of Philemon. Another book in the Bible, very short. A very short letter to Philemon, not to a community, but actually to a person that Paul writes in the inspired word of God, okay? So Philemon is a believer in Paul. He's actually very wealthy. He's got lots of servants. Some translations say slave, okay? But the notion of slave is different than in American history slaves, okay? It's a bondservant. This person is paying off a debt. It's kind of like what in America we called indentured servitude. Okay, they're paying off debts. They're paying off debts. They're working for, and while they're paying off that debt, they're beholden to you, at least in that given contract, until they pay you back. So it's really tied to debt, paying back debt, which is no different from you borrowing tons of money from big bankers and credit cards, thinking that's money, but you are in debt to them. You are an indentured servant to different banking heads. All right, so indentured servitude is more like that. It's not like in the southern plantations that we see in the West, okay? But Onesimus here is the servant, bondservant, indentured servant of Philemon, who is a very wealthy aristocrat who is a convert to Christianity. Onesimus runs away. Who does he go to? He goes to Paul, because he knows Paul is the spiritual father of Philemon. You see that? And then Paul accepts Onesimus as his son, spiritual son. Okay? So now there's this dilemma, because now legally by Roman law he has to return Onesimus to Philemon. He has to return him. And there's no regulation on it, so that when the slave returns or the servant returns, you can beat him, pummel him, you can do whatever you want. So Philemon is very angry with Onesimus. Okay? But Paul is saying, okay, Philemon, you love me. I'm your father. I'm your spiritual father. You're my son. Now there's this other guy who you know a little bit, Onesimus. And now he's my son too. So if he's my son and you're my son, that means he's your brother. Okay? And if he's your brother, he can't be what? He can't be your slave. That make sense? If he's your brother, he can't be your slave. Look at the family fraud. They want to make the brothers slaves. They want to make the women handlers of their slaves. So you women become so arrogant, you think you handle this man, and hey, I'm keeping under control for the family fraud hierarchy, and Bishop Kim and Michael Jenkins, I'm powerful. You're arrogant and you're a narcissist. Okay? Your husband is not meant to be some animal that you keep up chained so you can, pretend how powerful you are. You're a pathetic, narcissistic demon. Your husband was meant to be a son of God, to be free, and to protect and love you. You to respect. That's so pathetic. These narcissists are so pathetic. Arrogant little feminist cult that they're in. So pathetic. It's so weak. It's so weak. It's so pathetic. And then, of course, they want to invite radical Islam to come and take them. Unbelievable. Well, they'll come take you and do some other stuff to you too. Why? Because you got rid of all the honorable men. You've got rid of masculinity. You got rid of fatherhood. You've got rid of the most powerful protectorate survival system in the universe. And you wonder why. You get in Sweden and Berlin and Germany, Muslim migrants coming from radical areas raping girls, 12-year-old boys, girls and boys, and getting off the hook. No punishment. None. And Sweden is the feminist paradise. Well, we just want more to come in. Please come in. We're so nice. And the terrorists going, okay, Allahu Akbar. We come now. Oh, so stupid. Dumb, brain dead women. So stupid. Such on power trips. Not valuing the men that God has given them. This is what our problem with the Han mother. She didn't value the men that God put around her. If she lifted up father's kingship, my gosh, she would be the queen of the universe. The most praised woman in all of history. Not this fallen harlot of Babylon, who is now doing goddess worship and now worshiping herself as God. We're the only ones who told you about that, the truth. Now you hear for yourself. And now they're financially floundering, they're totally collapsing, they're panicking, trying to keep the members under tighter and tighter leashes, and tighter, more and more donation pushes. Oh, see how fast ostensibly the seemingly mighty fall. How fast? Because they're dishonorable. Dishonorable. This is why when Christianity actually stood up and fought against the Muslim marauders, they slaughtered them. They destroyed Islamic armies. They destroyed them, conquered them so fast. Because Christians have the moral high ground when they fight. They don't start the fight, but if they're going to get killed, they're going to fight back. So they have the moral high ground. Whereas the conquering marauders didn't have moral high ground. They're just going there to conquest and take over the world so that they can get virgins or actual real women for sex slavery. That's not the moral high ground. Couple that with the reality that most women want to leave Islam, but they can't say it, otherwise they'll be killed, and if they do, they'll be killed. If you're an apostate, the punishment is death. When the Christians actually stand up and say, nope, no more of this, we're fighting back. Islam gets conquered so quick, and they convert very quickly. The women convert very quickly, they're protected by the Christians, and the men who are semi-good men say, yeah, I don't really want to be part of that. I love Jesus. I want to have a family. A conscience. So that top group that keeps it all under control collapses very quick. Christians don't go looking out for fights. Christians don't go looking out for conquering conquest. That's how they positioned the Crusades. That's not how the Crusades were happening. Read actual literature of the Crusades with actual archaeological sources and actual academics who tell the truth of history. These are defensive wars, folks. They're not going out starting fights. But if you start a fight with me, I'm going to have to defend myself and my family, my daughter, my wife. And I will dominate you. Because I'm fighting for everything I love. Does that make sense? See? It's an honorable fight. They don't like going out to fight, but if they have to, they have the moral high ground. That's why they win. Against larger armies, bigger armies, more trained armies, they win because they have the moral high ground. They have the Holy Spirit infused in them. They're fighting a defensive war. Philemon and Onesimus, super elite slave or servant. Look at this. Paul writes and says, Philemon, look, Onesimus, what is he? A faithful and beloved brother. I'm going to send him back to you. I'm going to send him back. But when I send him back, don't treat him like a slave. Okay, you love me, I'm your father. I'm your father, you love me, I see him as my son. So when I send him back to you, I know he used to be your slave or your bondservant, your indentured servant. But when he comes back to you, think of me. He's my son. That makes him your brother. Do you know the abolitionist movement that went to get rid of slavery in the United States? You know the passages they used? They used the passages in Philemon. Talking about individual rights. This person who was a slave also has individual rights. This person has value in the eyes of God. He's my, what do you say? Faithful and beloved brother. He's your faithful and beloved brother. Did you know that? Of course, the people who were for slavery tried to use other passages in Philemon saying, no, Paul didn't mean that. But the point is, the one who said, no, even slaves have rights, won. They won. It comes from this whole discussion with Onesimus. He's a critical and important figure in the history of freeing slaves. Because Paul wrote about God's perspective on this bondservant. Now look at this. Look at this in the larger world. When the bankers see their dead slaves, they don't care. Whether they take your house, take yours, they don't care what they do to you. You better do your payment or they're going to punish you. You have no rights. You've signed them over to the banks. You see? The whole issue with Onesimus, no. Even a bondservant has rights. This man has individual rights. See, that's about individual. This was one scholar wrote about this episode as the first time in all of world history where civilization was talking about individual rights that cannot be separated them, independent of their caste, independent of their status. Isn't that interesting? The Roman Empire certainly did not believe that bondservants were animals. They could be treated like animals. There was no prosecution for them if they punished you, tortured you, raped you, etc. No problem. You owed it to them because you are indebted to them. But this whole Onesimus figure is the figure that is in the scripture that shows, no, we cannot do that. Now this is very important because also even in sanctuary all across the world, oh, this person drives me nuts. Oh, this person drives me nuts. I hear it all the time. But look, you have to understand what I have to do. What's it? They're like, I'm in the position of true Father on earth. That's what Father said. I'm his Tashinja. That means true Father on earth. So I am looking at everybody in sanctuary who stepped up, who had to stand up, get persecuted, mocked, hated by their family, hated by their friends, hated by everybody because they weren't politically correct. Even though sometimes, yes, personalities clash and they don't get along. No, but from Father's perspective, that's a second moot point. The real point is these are my children who were real, who stood up for me when everybody else betrayed me for political convenience. So they wouldn't be cursed. So when people are trying, bickering and somebody fighting with this, and so they'll come to me and say, we really have to deal with this. Oh, please just mention something about, if you just mention one word. I said, no, I don't need to. I have to stand in the position of the Father. And your brothers amongst each other. Your sisters amongst each other. You all showed that you were actually the ones that were true. Even though you're not perfect, even though you don't have the perfect personalities or you have clashing personalities with other people, so what? Even ant communities have clashing personalities with other ants. Come on. So what? That's normal. So what? The point is where's the heart? Where was the heart? Where was the love? Was it real? Was it fake? Was it following the hierarchy so I can get moral praise and I can be a virtue signaling moral posture? A fake? A Pharisee? Or did I really have love for Father when everything was against me and everybody would curse me and I knew all my friends, I would lose them all, and they would curse me, unfriend me on Facebook? I still said, I can't betray Father. Where was your heart? What was your love? That's what's precious to Father. That's what's precious. What's precious in the Father's perspective is that, okay, these are all my children. They're imperfect, so what? They showed their true love for me. I know how Father sees it. So it doesn't really matter if people are arguing and have different opinions. So what? That's like your children having, if you have your 5 kids, so they're arguing with each other to do stupid things. So what? I still love them. We still eat with them. We still do their one-to-one days. When we meet them, we tell them, hey, it may be a dumb decision just to, go after your brother like that. Or he says, hey, it's not necessary. But we still love them. And that's very important. This is what this whole thing about Onesimus is. It's about understanding our community, that when we're in Christ, there's neither Jew nor Gentile, neither free nor slave. Neither Jew nor Gentile. Right? He said, the Bible says, neither man nor woman. We are in Christ. Amen. Our first identity is being in Christ. Not that I'm a feminist. I'm a masculinist. My first identity is I'm in Christ. I'm a lover of God's heart. I'm a lover of God. I'm in Christ. That's my primary identity. Just like God's primary identity is not male and female, it's not yin and yang. It's the internal nature and external form. We talked about Carrie, beautifully in a presentation. Right? Onesimus is the faithful and beloved brother. Now, legally, Philemon has all the rights to beat him, kill him. He has all the rights to put him on the rug and they'll never find him, they'll never complain, he'll never be prosecuted. My goodness, sometimes I get sanctuary people, man, we have to really, this is an emergency, we have to get rid of this brother now, it's an emergency, king, now, please. I say, shut up. Relax. Have some green tea. Don't worry. Oh, it's an emergency, fire. Stir the green tea, my son. Stir the green tea. There you go. Ah, not so hard, right? Okay. Philemon had all the rights to kill this man. All the rights to get rid of him. But Paul's warning him, look. Okay, so what? You don't get along sometimes. And there's another episode in here where Paul is talking about other people like Barnabas, which he was disagreeing with before in the book of Acts. But by the time we're in Colossians, Paul's already sorted that out. It's already behind him. He's now fine with Barnabas, who was one of his sons, spiritual sons. He's now fine. See? Everything is not always in the moment. Everything is not always going to be the way it is right now. Tensions, emotions go high. So what? Over time, sometimes they get better. Oh, Lord, this is nuts. Oh, Jamal, Robert, nuts. Blah, blah, blah. And then a couple years down the road, say, actually, Jamal and Robert have some really good points. And they're actually good guys. And Lourdes, she actually has some good things about her, too. She's good. Drink your green tea. Have a cookie. You see? That's exactly what Paul's talking about. That's what the Bible's talking about. The key is who is that person in love with? Okay, so what? They're not perfect. But Onesimus is in love with Christ. He's saved by Christ. Philemon, who's his slave owner or servant owner, also loves Christ. So he's just reminding him, hey, look, I know you have all the authority. I know you have all the legal authority to kill him, to destroy him. I know you have it. But hey, just remember, I'm your spiritual puppy, and he's your spiritual puppy. I'm his spiritual puppy too. So take care of him. Don't treat him like a slave. When I send him back to you, which I will, because I don't want to break the law of Roman law, when I send him back to you, just take care of him. Very, very important character in the Bible. Very, very important. We then have Aristarchus. He was a Macedonian from Thessalonica. Paul's travel companion with the apostle when the Ephesian mob seized Paul. He was also with Paul when he set sail for Rome under the Roman imprisonment, etc. He calls him a fellow prisoner. It seems that Aristarchus had an interesting habit of being with Paul in hard times. Look at that. Hey. Aristarchus, look. You'll see that on a micro too. When we came out here into the wilderness, left the palace, all we had was a promise of a true father, and we would have to found a nation. Just Cain and Abel, two brothers, who said, no, we will not betray and sell out our father. And you can use the whole mechanism of the guilt shaming and the cults all around the world to try to curse us and say we're unfilial and we're evil, etc. Because time will tell that we did the right thing. We didn't sell out. We love our mom, but we had to step away because she became a heretic. Just like if she became a commie, we'd have to stand against her as a commie. And of course, coming out and God preparing people who are already here. It's interesting. Most of these people are on the run. Onesimus, he was on the run. Onesimus was on the run. He was running away from Philemon, his slave owner. Sound familiar? And he ran into Paul. Running away from the slave owners, running into Paul. Many of our first brothers and sisters that were here already. They were running away. They were running away from the archangels that were down their throat everywhere they went. Oh, you're going to do a camp? Well, you have to get Bishop Kim's approval for that. I didn't know that, huh? Did you get your career leader approval, huh? Whatever it is, okay? They were fleeing. They were on the run from the slave owners and the predatory class and the Yang saying, oh, you got your permission, no, brother. Or whatever, whoever they are. Oh, you have a separate bank account? No. You cannot. You give it to me. Control. Give me secret password. They were on the run, coming out of the wilderness. They're on the wilderness, running away, trying to get clear of the archangels around this or that place, and trying to guilt shame them and saying, "Oh, you are unfaithful. You're unfaithful member. You do not give us control your bank account. You are unfaithful member." And they're on the run. They're out there in the wilderness. Who knew? God sent us to Pennsylvania. We had to come to Pennsylvania. It became the place that determined the world politics of the world. It became the place that got Trump elected, who is now tearing down the whole global structure. Nobody knew that, Pennsylvania. Not only anywhere, Pennsylvania, Northeast Pennsylvania. Can't make this up. Can't make it. We could have chose anywhere better. We could have chose Colorado. We could have chose, I don't know, anywhere. Not California, but that's crazy. That's nuts. But, anyway, you could have chosen anywhere. But we went where the Spirit of God called us. And when you run from the archangel, you might just run into God. You might just run into God's people. Very fascinating how that all parallels those in the wilderness, and then of course the community growing worldwide. 2 years, 10,000 brothers and sisters have returned to Father's authority, plus every week, more and more. They're trying to cover it up, what the Han mother's saying, because they know it's heretical, but they want to keep their salaries, which are now diminishing because they've squandered everything and been a den of thieves. And now they're trying to get her to make more money for them, But now the more she speaks, the more she reveals her theology. Which of course they've been telling the members she never said. But then she says it from her own mouth. And what is it? What comes out of her mouth? Exactly what we said. So who's a liar? See? Well, it's all about self-worship. So trying to find the justification to lie to themselves that no, Father never chose a successor. He never crowned, him 3 times. He never made him take shot. No, that doesn't exist. That's not true. He didn't prove himself to me. You get this one, right? I don't have to prove anything to anybody. I never asked for anything. I never asked for this position. I always have to remind people, I'm not self-appointed. I'm the only one who's not self-appointed. Father is the one who appointed me. I'm the only one who's not self-appointed. They're always appointing themselves. But you can see, running away from the archangel, running into the providence of God. Mark, the cousin of Barnabas, if he comes to you, welcome him too. And this is a whole episode about Barnabas when Paul fought with him in Acts 15, Acts 13 here. But now that's all resolved, see? And the people of God continue to move forward and preach the gospel. There's something amazing happening, folks, in 2017. We already told you. We know the great celestial signs are coming in September. We know that Trump has literally put the entire pedophile network and political class under threat of their lives now. Because now they know that all the roads are leading straight to D.C., all the roads are leading straight to Washington and the politicians' class. They know they don't have that much time. As Kuk Jung talked about yesterday. They have to get him out within 6 months. They have to get him out within a year because otherwise he'll be too politically grounded. The administration will be too set. And he's already going after the pedophiles. Jeff Sessions, last week? He's now going after a federal officer for treason. Treason. You see? The Democratic Party under Obama has been under open treason against the United States. They now know that Trump has all the evidence showing that they've actively done sedition and treason. And now it's on the books. Jeff Sessions is now going after one of the federal leaders for treason. So they know their time is coming. And they know they've been part of the treasonous cabal who has tried to sell us to the EU and sell us to the Bilderberg Group and sell us to the UN to destroy everybody's sovereignty. Oh, private property? Yeah, you once owned private property in America? No, come on, that's not real. They never owned private property. It was always managed by the state. No. They never had the right for a citizen to have guns. Come on, what kind of craziness is that? That's a fairy tale. You see? Rewriting history. And this is what the devil has to do because he has to cover with illusions. Because once his illusion is seen through, he's so weak. Because the lie, once it's broken, once the spell, the magical spell that was the wizard, now the curtain is pulled back. Oh, crash. Big problem. They're so pathetic. They're so evil. They have no moral high ground. They're completely lust-filled, Satanist, cannibalist demons. They have no right to rule and govern over humanity. No right whatsoever. They're illegitimate from the beginning of the world. They're failures from the beginning of the world. Yes. And of course, this is what family fraud is completely aligning themselves with. Yep. Completely aligning themselves with. Relativism, multiculturalism, philosophical relativism, totalitarianism, supreme council. Give me a break! Utter, horrendous, putrid, totalitarian filth. Rotting carcasses, flesh hanging off of bones, being devoured by vultures. That's all it is. Absolutely despicable. No different from all the evil of the fallen history of mankind be ruled under archangels and tyrants. Because they want to make it a fantasy land, and they want to make it a long, long fairy tale that once people could actually own private property, and once you could actually call your son a son and a daughter, and you can say you're a man and you're a woman. And once in a long, long mythical fairy tale a long time ago, you could actually own arms. But that's never true. That's just in fairyland. The archangel is full of lies and he's full of illusion. Once that illusion gets cracked, it shows how pathetic and evil and selfish and narcissistic he is. Only craving for power, only craving for control, only craving to dominate and farm people. And when that cracks, when it becomes visible how evil these people are, which is now becoming clear, is when their power is gone. So that's where they double up, double down, they go harder. Pretending that they're righteous and morally correct in their domination of humanity. That's exactly the same as family fraud. The harder they fight back, the weaker they become. Because they have no moral high ground other than thievery, lying, deception, and power lust. That's it. They have no civilization they can build because it's based on deception. Illegitimacy. And they see the normal member now, the normal person who they thought was a slave. And they're following this crazy sanctuary and crazy father's heir and successor and representative Tishinja. And now, how dare they? They're wearing crowns and, oh my God, they have guns. They're crazy. They're a paramilitary cult out there. That's what they say. That's why, you know why they say that? Because inside, they know these are people who do not bow to them. The last vestige of hope is trying to guilt shame a sovereign person. That you may bend over and say, go ahead, rape me. But that doesn't happen with sovereign people. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words don't ever hurt me. And that's why, as a nation of Chenigo manifesting, and the gun salute is coming soon, oh, they'll try to assault that. Oh, look at them, man. They're like Far Cry 2. You see, where's that picture of Far Cry 2? Look at them. They're like this New Testament Christian paramilitary group centered on the Moon Boys and Reverend Sun Myung Moon cult out there. Ah! You know they're going to do that. Meanwhile, the Marines have a gun salute. Meanwhile, the Philippines have a gun salute. Meanwhile, Japan has a gun salute. Meanwhile, Africa has a gun salute. Every nation has a salute. That shows these are people, these are patriots that are willing to stand and die for their country. Boy. It's their last howling attempt. Because they're so weak and they buckle to peer pressure so easily, they think that sovereign people who actually love God are as weak, as pathetic as them. Paul mentions a whole group of people. And what did he say? He said, these are my fellow workers in the kingdom of God. And what did he say? They bring me comfort. They bring me comfort. When I see honorable men and women that are gathered, when I see honorable men and women, I may not know you, but those sanctuary members across the world, they come here and they say, I don't even know them. But I know they were persecuted, I know they were scorned, they hated, they lost all their friends. And they come out here. You know what I see? I see what Paul was talking about. Somebody who gives me tremendous gratitude, comfort. God never forsook his sons. God never forsook us. He left us with true people. Does that mean we're all perfect and we're impervious to evil? No. Does that mean we have to be vigilant and stand up against evil and stand up against our own narcissism? Yes, of course. That's with everybody. But what was at the core? honor, virtue, love. Real love for the one who actually deserves it. The one who actually walked the 10,000 crosses to give you freedom, to give you separation from Satan. Not some stupid, pathetic religious hierarchy that perches on top of you, telling you that you can be religious if you lift up this hand or this scepter or that or whatever. Talking about a real relationship with God, real relationship with true Father, the King of Kings, who is center of the kingdom of Chaniku, who is the King. These are my only fellow workers for the kingdom of God, who are in the who are of circumcision. And he says that they comfort me, prove to be a comfort to me, to Paul. Okay, so even on the micro and the macro, Trump may not get along with everybody that he has to use. Just like on the micro, you might not get along with everybody that's a sanctuary person. Trump can't get along with everybody. He has to use some people that he knows is kind of against him, but they're willing to work with him to help a larger goal. See how that micro and macro happens? Exactly the same. What we all stand up against is wickedness in high places, principalities and powers, rulers of the darkness of this earth, that are now exposed, are now in the new time sun. We can see them. We can see who the evildoers are. We all did something that was epic. Every single one here, and viewing online, who were there from the beginning. You did what was the legend stuff in movies. The normal person could not do because they were too weak. They're too slaves to political pressure, too much a slave to the world, not a servant of God, not a lover of God. Look at all these guys, brothers and sisters. All of you from different backgrounds, different places, different nations, places in life. When Father sees you, and I know it, I feel His Spirit, He finds comfort. Not because we all get along and we sing Kumbaya all the time and we never do have disagreements or whatever. It's because we have real love. Our love is true. It's centered. It is correct. The kingdom is built not because of fake unity and fake harmony. The kingdom is built because of real love, folks. That's why it's built. Real love. Real love for God, real love for the King of Kings, real love for the Lord's second advent. Real love. That's what builds it. That's why it has the moral high ground. That's why it wins. That's why it can't be conquered. And that's why people who have true love, real love, not slaves to the hierarchy, not slaves to stupid political correctness, are called to stand in their place as the kings and queens that stand with the King of Kings. And that's what this whole photo today, the ceremony, that's what it represents, folks. Okay? So, I get to walk a red carpet. It's not that great. It's just a stupid carpet, okay? Don't get it twisted. I think the red carpet, the red carpet. It's a carpet. Don't let it get, we don't want it. We're not going to worship ourselves. We've proven at the hard time we won't worship ourselves. We've proven at the hard time that we'll stand up for God even though we're persecuted. That's the love. That's the love that binds us. That's the love that holds us. That's the love that will build civilization of Chanigu. So yes, you'll have crowns on, and yes, you'll have beautiful. Oh, aren't those beautiful with the True Father's name on the crown? Praise God. We're living in epic times, folks. Epic time. SOS, come on up. As we go to Chunseongyong. Let's read together. Consider this. To restore the people of Israel, the angels in the heavenly world came and worked. The servants came and worked. And then the Son came and worked. Now the Father is coming. The coming Lord. Where'd it go? Come back. Tech team, put that back up. There it is. The coming Lord is coming as a father. As a father. Very important to love your father. He will come as the true parent to raise true children and give love. We are the inheritors of that kingdom, folks. That's why you must be strong. And peace comes through strength when good people have dominion over creation and all things. Let's all rise and give glory to God on this most precious day. Thank you, Father.
Turned into one. Open the eyes of the blind. There's no one like you. None like you.
Into the darkness you shine. Out of the ashes we rise. There's no one like you. None like you. Our God is greater, our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power. Our God, our God. is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome in power. Our God, our God. And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? And if our God is with us, then what can stand against? And if our God is for us, then who could ever stop us? And if our God is with us, then what can stand against? Then what can stand against? Times I failed, still your mercy remains. Should I stumble again, still I'm caught in your grace. Everlasting, your light will shine when all else fades. Never ending, your glory goes beyond all fame. Purpose remains, the art of losing myself in bringing you praise. Everlasting, your light will shine when all else fades. Never ending, your glory goes beyond all fame. In my heart and my soul, I give you control. Consume me from the inside out, Lord. Let justice and praise become my embrace. To love you from the inside out. Above all else, my purpose remains, the art of losing myself in bringing you praise. Everlasting, your light will shine when all else fades. Never ending, your glory goes beyond all fame. My heart and my soul, I give you control. Consume me from the inside out, Lord. Let justice and praise become my embrace. To love you from the inside out. Everlasting, your light will shine when all else fades. Never ending, your glory goes beyond all fame. And the cry of my heart is to bring you praise from the inside out. inside out. My heart and my soul, I give you control. Consume me from the inside out, Lord. Let justice and praise become my embrace. To love you from the inside out, everlasting. Your light will shine when all else fades. Never ending, your glory goes beyond all fame. And the cry of my heart is to bring you praise from the inside out of my soul. Cries out.
This song is really beautiful because it really reminds me of Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Nothing is storm, your drop of rain, my raging fire, a candle flame, my deepest ocean is like a puddle at your feet. My darkest valley, my greatest mountain, they are your glory, for you are constant. Your ways are higher than any other, so I will sing. God of the impossible, maker of all miracles, I stand in awe of you. I am so amazed by how you reach into my brokenness, make me beautiful again. I believe, yes I believe, nothing is impossible with you. When I am weak, you are my strength, and all your power is made complete. You turn my failures to victories. Hallelujah, hallelujah. God of the impossible, maker of all miracles, I stand in awe of you. I am so amazed by how you reach into my brokenness, make me beautiful again. I believe, yes I believe, nothing is impossible with you. Healer, healer, I'm restored by a healer, provider, provider. I am filled by a waters, I know that you will be with me. When I'm standing in the fire, I will not be overcome. Through the valley of the shadow, I will not fear. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. In the midst of deep sorrow, I see your light is breaking through. The dark of night will not overtake me. I am pressing into you. Lord, you fight my every battle, and I will not fear. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. You amaze me, redeem me. You call me as your own. You amaze me, redeem me. You call me as your own. You amaze me, redeem me. You call me as your own. You amaze me, redeem me. You call me as your own. You're my strength, you're my defender. You're my refuge in the storm. Through these trials, you've always been faithful to bring healing to my soul. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me.
Give him all the praise. And
ask Him to join us here. Open our heart, open eyes of our hearts, that we may be able to see Him and be with Him. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see You. I want to see You. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see You. I want to see You. To see You high and lifted up, shining in the light of Your glory. Pour out Your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see You. I want to see You. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see You. I want to see You. To see You high and lifted up, shining in the light of Your glory. Pour out Your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. To see You high and lifted up, shining in the light of Your glory. Pour out Your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see You. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see You. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see You. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see
하나님 왕권 수립 승리 억만세. 만왕 전진 자문 3대 왕권 억만세. 전이국 창건 억만세. 아주 아주 아주. Hug your neighbor, bless them today, and join us for fellowship. God bless. God is good.